In the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, cradled by mist-shrouded mountains and whispering forests, two princes were born under a sky of twin comets. The first, Alaric, was destined for the throne, his path illuminated by the comet of gold. He was strong, charismatic, and bore the weight of leadership with an easy grace. The second, Cael, was born under the silver comet, a sign of prophecy that marked him not for rule, but for a far more elusive pursuit, truth. From their earliest days, the brothers were inseparable. Alaric taught Cael the art of the sword, while Cael taught Alaric the language of the stars. They raced their horses through the royal meadows and shared secrets in the highest castle towers. Their bond was the kingdom's greatest hope, a perfect balance of strength and wisdom. Alaric would be the shield and Cael the light. But prophecies are rarely straightforward. As they grew into men, the kingdom's seers began to speak of the silver comet's darker meaning. They whispered that the truth Cael was destined to uncover would not strengthen the throne, but shatter it. Fear, a seed planted in the fertile ground of power, began to sprout within the royal council. They saw Cael not as a beacon, but as a threat to the stability Alaric was born to protect. The pressure mounted on Alaric, now a young king preparing for his coronation. The councillors, cloaked in tradition and fear, urged him to act. They argued that Cael's quest for truth, whatever it might be, was a danger to the very foundation of their society. A kingdom, they insisted, is built on order and belief, not on unsettling revelations. Torn between his love for his brother and his duty to his people, Alaric faced an impossible choice. One moonless night, with a heavy heart, Alaric summoned Cael. He didn't use guards or formal decrees. It was just the brothers in the throne room, the golden throne looming between them like a silent judge. Alaric explained the council's fears, the kingdom's fragility. He asked Cael to abandon his fated quest, but for Cael, his destiny wasn't a choice. It was the very essence of his being. To deny it would be to deny himself. The argument was quiet, filled more with sorrow than anger. In the end, Alaric made his decision. Cael was to be exiled, sent beyond the kingdom's borders until the political climate settled, until the prophecy could be forgotten. It was, Alaric told himself, an act of protection, not punishment. Cael's exile began. He travelled south, into the sun-scorched deserts, unforgotten lands that lay beyond Eldoria's maps. The comforts of the palace were replaced by the harsh realities of survival, yet he was not bitter. His journey was no longer just a prophecy. It was a personal quest. He sought knowledge in hidden libraries, spoke with hermits who lived in desolate canyons, and learned from tribes who remembered a history older than Eldoria itself. He was searching for the truth he was born to find, the truth that had cost him his home. Years passed. In Eldoria, King Alaric ruled with a firm but just hand. The kingdom prospered, and the memory of the second prince faded into legend. But Alaric was never truly at peace. Every night, he looked to the sky, searching for the silver comet, his brother's star. He had built a strong kingdom, but it felt hollow, built upon a foundation he knew was incomplete. He had chosen order over truth, and the choice haunted him. Meanwhile, in the ruins of a city swallowed by sand, Cael made a discovery that changed everything. He found ancient scrolls, not of prophecy, but of history. They told of the founding of Eldoria, not by a single, noble king as the official histories claimed, but by two brothers. One was a warrior who built the walls and commanded armies. The other was a scholar who discovered the kingdom's source of magic, a hidden nexus of elemental power. To protect this power from misuse, the scholar brother created a magical seal, a great lie, that rewrote history. He erased himself and the magic's true nature, believing that future generations were not ready for such power. The kingdom's stability, its very existence, was built on this foundational deception. The silver comet was not a prophecy of destruction, but a celestial key, a sign that the time had come for the truth to be revealed. Kael finally understood. His purpose wasn't to shatter the throne, but to restore the kingdom's lost half, its magic, its soul. With this newfound knowledge, Kael began his long journey home. He was no longer the boy who was exiled, but a man who understood the true weight of his destiny. He knew his return would not be welcomed by all. The royal council, whose power was derived from the established order, would see him as a heretic. His arrival in Eldoria was as quiet as his departure. He didn't ride to the castle gates with an army. He walked into the capital, his face weathered by the sun and his eyes filled with a quiet certainty. Word of his return spread like wildfire. The council, panicked, urged Alaric to imprison him, to silence him for good. They called him a traitor who had returned to sow chaos. This time, Alaric did not listen. He saw his brother not as a threat, but as the missing piece of his own reign. He cleared the throne room and met Kael alone, just as they had all those years ago. Kael did not make accusations. He simply laid the ancient scrolls on the cold stone floor and told Alaric the true story of their kingdom's birth. He explained that the magic of the land was fading because it was severed from its source by the great lie, the droughts, the strange sicknesses in the crops. It was all connected. Eldoria was dying, not from external threats, but from a wound within. Alaric listened, his gaze fixed on the scrolls. He saw the truth in Kael's eyes and felt it resonate with the emptiness he had carried for so long. He had spent his life defending a kingdom built on a lie. Now, he had a chance to make it whole. The choice was clear. Together, the two brothers stood before the people and the royal council in the great hall. Kael spoke of their true history, of the Scholar King and the hidden magic. The council members protested, shouting of treason and blasphemy. But Alaric, the Golden King, stood beside his brother. He raised his hand for silence. He told his people that he had chosen order over truth once before and had been wrong. He declared that Eldoria would no longer live in the shadow of a lie. A kingdom, he proclaimed, must be built on courage, and the greatest courage is to face the truth. Following the instructions in the scrolls, the brothers journeyed to the heart of the kingdom, to a hidden chamber beneath the oldest part of the castle. There, they found the ancient seal, working together, Alaric providing the strength of his royal lineage, and Kael the wisdom of the forgotten lore. They broke the seal. A wave of pure, untamed magic surged forth, flowing through the kingdom, a revitalizing river. The land healed, the rivers ran full, and a faint, silvery glow returned to the night sky. The kingdom was not shattered. It was reborn, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. Alaric remained king, but he no longer ruled alone. He and Kael governed together, a perfect balance of power and truth, just as their ancestors had. The Golden Throne and the Silver Prophecy were finally united. Eldoria entered a new golden age, one founded not on secrets and fear, but on the unbreakable bond of two brothers who dared to believe that truth was not the end of a kingdom, but its true beginning. Their story became the kingdom's most cherished legend, a reminder that the strongest crowns are forged not just of gold, but of truth. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from history and legend. We'll see you in the next one.